Oh, so now we are working properly. So sorry about that, everyone. I tell you what, we'll just start over here and just tell you right now everything's up for a lot of reasons. Sorry about that, everyone. But we do have sound this morning now officially out there, is what I'm being told now. Oh, there we go. Is checking that out. So, folks, things happen here on Monday mornings we have to deal with. Yes. Well, what's happening on the market? Pretty much everything's up here today. Chip prices through the roof. We'll talk about that here in the show. But oil prices are down about 7% here today. 7% down for the oil prices, causing the market to go up as well. And why is the oil prices down? Well, it's because of some stuff happening in that Middle East we'll get into here in just a few minutes. But first, let's look at a few stocks. SK Hynix is the first stop that we're going to look at. 0.71% down right now. It was up earlier here in the market and in pre-market. And so what's happening around these stock markets and these things? Well, Chinese chip maker CXMT made its public market debut in Shanghai, China. Well, its stock skyrocketed more than 466% this morning. It did set the momentum carried over to US listed memory names, but as the markets open, we've seen it kind of falling down here today a little bit, right? 0.72% down as of right now on the market as well. Then there's SanDisk out there. Is SanDisk is the next stock that we're going to look at, down 4.97% as we're looking at that here this morning. And then there's Micron Technologies is what we're going to look at, up 0.54%. That's the one that has stayed up here since the markets have opened. All the other ones have kind of sunk a little bit here today as there is a sell-off occurring right now. But as you saw in the market watch, markets way up, even with those memory stocks, kind of being buoyed here by that Chinese public market debut there in Shanghai for CXMT, which no graph on because that's the Shanghai Chinese markets out there. So next time when we come back, we'll look at energy stocks is what we'll pay attention to. And but first, we got to get into kind of what's leading this market to this rally here this morning, and that's all because of that temporary hiatus to the hostilities between the U.S. and Iran. Well, it's holding on here on Monday morning at least. Iran, though, did deny media reports that it had agreed to a 10-day ceasefire. The U.S. military brought a halt to those 2 weeks of daily strikes. They halted it on Friday. Diplomats are seeking to give peace talks some space, is what they say. So Iran has also refrained from military operations since Friday. They were targeting regional targets in the recent days leading up to the Friday halt. Well, they said they will reciprocate the hold following a Chinese led push to resume those stalled diplomatic efforts up in Pakistan. But so the U.S. and Iran have actually paused hostilities, but other actors around this conflict are undertaking military action related to the conflict, right? So that is highlighting the risk of further escalation and the complex challenges that are ahead for these negotiators. Because Iran can say they're pausing, but then you have the Houthis and other agencies of theirs that they fund still attacking places like Saudi Arabia and other countries surrounding that area. So it's a complicated procedure that people are in, but it's been holding as of Monday, causing oil prices to drop at least 7% here when we looked at it here earlier in the show as well. Next up, this is the week where the Federal Reserve meets and everything. Now, they are expected to hold interest rates unchanged this week. July 29th is when they'll make their announcements. Higher energy prices, renewed tensions with Iran, they've complicated the future for the board, even though there's cooler inflation data that's been coming out over the last month. So traders actually scaled back their expectations for an interest rate hike here in this meeting. Everybody a month ago said July will be a hike, is what they were betting on. Well, they've cooled that interest there here coming up. Market pricing, though, does indicate the Fed is more likely to consider a rate move coming up in September instead of July here. So, still expecting a hike coming this year, but at least it's been pushed off, at least for the expectations. Now, we'll find out on Wednesday what the Fed actually does out there as well. And we'll keep it rolling here. And Move away from the hostilities and the Fed type of stuff. Oil prices down 7%. Then we find out in a new way to kind of record who owns homes these days. Now we find out that about 53% of US adults actually own homes. Well, why is that significant? Far below That's far below the number of the commonly cited 65% homeownership rate out there. And why are we getting this new deal? Well, there's a Federal Reserve research that's painting a starker picture of access to home ownership. We know how hard it is to become a homeowner here in this current market. Now, the traditional home ownership rate, which is that 65%, that's tracked by the U.S. Census Bureau. What it does is it measures the share of occupied homes in which the owner lives. So they're changing the way they're measuring it here, and for a specific reason. This new measure is from the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. It's called the Homeowners to Population Ratio, which they call HPOP. Yeah, it instead calculates the share of adults who own a home. So, if, for instance, take a married couple who own a house, and let's say they have an adult kid still living with them. Well, the census measures classified the household as owner occupied, even though the son doesn't actually own the home. So he gets credit as owning a home, even though he doesn't, because he's related to the people that do own it as well. So that gives the impression that everyone living in such a household is a homeowner. About 14% of U.S. adults live in owner occupied homes without owning the property. That's according to that Minneapolis Fed researchers and the work that they did with the HPOP. So these can include adult children living with their parents, siblings, or parents living with adult relatives, but even it can include people living with a roommate who owns the property. So anybody under the household has been recorded as a homeowner in the past. So the 65% was the commonly cited rate. Well, it can obscure the fact that more than 1 in 8 U.S. adults lives in an owner-occupied home without actually owning that home. So HPOP provides a clearer picture by distinguishing between the share of homes occupied by their owners and then the share of adults who actually own the property. So HPOP actual finds home ownership is lower in every U.S. state than previously thought. The lowest rates are in states with high housing prices. For instance, the old way of doing it, like I want to say in New York, it was like 53%, and only like 42% actually owned property at that time. So we're seeing some numbers be recalculated here with the way the economy is going and everything. But we just got done, or we're still in the midst, right, of this parasite from lettuce. But check your refrigerator because this affects Arizona folks as well. And it's a salmonella outbreak linked to recalled eggs now. Yeah, 98 people have been sickened and hospitalized. 26 have been hospitalized across 17 states. Yeah, this is a July 24th update from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. So this is a new update. Everybody's focusing on the lettuce. We got to pay attention to eggs as well. So investigators say evidence points to shell eggs produced by Midwest Poultry Services. They're saying that's likely the source of the outbreak. They come days after the company recalled nearly 1.6 million dozen eggs because of potential salmonella contamination. So the FDA and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and Illnesses, they've reported in 17 states is where it's been affected. Arizona is one of them. Lucky us. California, Colorado, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, Michigan, Missouri, Mississippi, North Carolina, New Mexico, Nevada, New York, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, and West Virginia. We have viewers in all of those states except for two. So, Mississippi and Missouri. I'm sorry, Mississippi and Missouri are the two that we don't register people watching this program. So check your stuff there. People became sick between November 21st of 2025, folks, and June 30th, 2026. Of 44 people interviewed that were sick, 40, which is about 91%, reported eating eggs before becoming ill. This recall covers white shell eggs and brown cage-free shell eggs produced between June 6th and July 3rd, 2026 is what the time frame is for this issue right now. Sell by or best by dates from July 20th through August 17th of 2026. So this is what they're tracking now is this current batch here as well. And check your refrigerator because the eggs were sold under a bunch of names here, right? Country Morning, Cal Maine Sunups. None of those are here in Arizona, but they might be where you are. Berkshires, Simple Truth, but most importantly, here in Arizona at least, the Kroger brand names and packages ranging from 6 to 60 eggs. The Kroger private label brand are part of it as well. If you want to know what uh, numbers, what batch numbers to pay attention to, just do a quick Google search there. There's a bunch of them, and make sure your eggs in your fridge do not fall under these recalled numbers as well out there. Now we go from that fun story to Coca-Cola came out this morning and said that its dairy company that they own wholly, it's called Fairlife. Well, they resumed most of the production at 4 U.S. facilities. Now, this isn't a health situation, but their operations were halted after unauthorized third party access to some of their systems. Now, Fairlife did earlier this month join companies grappling with an AI driven cyber attacks and ransomware that steals sensitive data and disrupts the operations of the facilities. So they stopped their domestic production at that time. They launched an investigation with the help of external cybersecurity experts and advisors, and Coca Cola had said the product quality and safety had not been affected by the incident. The beverage giant, Coca Cola, meaning, now they wholly own Fairlife, but it is a separate company out there. So Coca Cola said Fairlife was working to restore impacted systems and operations. The existing inventory helped maintain retail availability of their products, but will we have shortages coming up if you enjoy these products out there? The company said the incident is not likely to have a material impact on its financial condition or results. Well, whew, these Coca-Cola is gonna get out, scot-free, right? By the way, Coca-Cola reports second quarter results coming up tomorrow. So, people will be watching that with this news, and now we got kind of a it's not a finale, but maybe it'll settle down, the talk here around this merger for a little bit. Over the weekend, or at least on Friday, Paramount Skydance said they agreed to freeze its merger with Warner Brothers Discovery until as late as next June. All because this federal judge is weighing that lawsuit from the 12 states attorney generals as well. So they want to kind of put it on the side, go through this trial process, and get that worked out before the merger can continue. They filed an 11-page court filing on Friday, and Paramount said it would not move forward with that merger until June 1st, 2027, unless the judge issues a ruling on the antitrust suit filed by those Democratic state attorneys before that time frame. So, Paramount spokesperson on Friday, he framed the merger pause as a quote significant win because the result is exactly what we have sought from the outset, a direct path to a trial based on the evidence, unquote. Now, they have some penalties starting in September. It's 25 cents a share is what they have to pay out if that merger is not completed. That's $600 million roughly for every 3 months this deal isn't closed. And they're willing to pause it for a whole year while it goes through the trial systems out there for that big mega merger deal. I'm going to predict it's going to eventually go through. Now, in what capacity they're going to have to merge some things around? That'd be kind of what we need to look at as well. And folks, we got some. Everything is getting specialty deals and one-time, limited time offers. Well, now it's moving into the car industry even more so than it was before. We always see one-off cars, right? The Eddie Bauer version, things to that effect, like for instance with Ford. But Ford is now taking the stance of expanding its accessory and parts business, all because they want to boost profits and better tap into the $53 billion U.S. aftermarket industry. The automaker is planning to increase its aftermarket products from exterior detailing and vehicle wraps all the way up to performance parts and systems. They want to do it internally now. Now, they want to have more exclusive moments that, they compare it to the Nike shoe drops, right? New version of a shoe comes out, everybody goes crazy about it. Special edition vehicle models is what they're specifically eyeing. You see there the purple car or pink car that's coming out. 1,000 of them are available. Now, they've long used special edition vehicles and souped up models to boost vehicle prices and profits. But they say that Ford specifically says that it's methodically taking steps to increase customers' ability to customize vehicles across all price levels. So that includes expanding accessories as well as investing additional resources. And what they have is Ford Custom Garage that launched last year. It's a one stop shop for customizations from the car maker. Anytime you customize something, you pay a premium for it out there. So they want to sell more customized vehicles. So this is you see on your screen there if you're watching. It's a sunrise inspired Ford Bronco SUV. Yeah, that's what they're coming out with. Only 1,000 of those are going to be available, folks. Yeah, a limited edition Desert Rising package is what they call that. All part of that Ford Custom Garages new Bronco Horizon series. It's a $13,695 package. Well, it takes the price of that Bronco SUV up to $57,350 as well for that. So they're doing it with F-150s. And they're going to start with projects and uh, special items there that start at a few $1,000s, can run all the way up to 16,000, 18,000. Mustang stuff, performance packages are more expensive, closer to that 18,000 range. And Mustang has a couple performance packages for customization they have available for you as well. And, they're actually for the F-150. Well, they're doing about just a 26.5, roughly 26,500 for a special performance version of the F-150 pickup truck coming as well. And like I said, that's all Ford trying to target that $15 billion high margin software and physical services revenue part of their business, which includes that customization business. They want to improve that by 8% annually through the end of the decade, right? They're just trying to get the aftermarket. Like if you go someplace, you buy your car, you take it someplace to get wrapped. Well, they just want to do it for you, right? Type of a situation. But it is interesting. The At least Ford is taking customization to kind of help their profit margins moving forward as well. And folks, I appreciate you joining me here on this Monday morning. We'll keep it rolling here as well. When we come back, we'll get into some local stories for you. And today, if you're a Canes fan, you want to pay attention, end of the show. Today's the day, and only today. So you want to pay attention on deal Canes has out there for you. Come back and join us, McCollum on Business, Monday edition. And we're back here, McCollum on Business, having some fun here on this Monday morning as well. Hopefully your weekend was good this week. Don't forget, we're moving back to our 5 days a week schedule. Our summer break is over as well, and we go 5 days a week now. So we'll be here Monday through Friday this week. Of course, having some fun as well, getting you through the business week. As soon as we're done here, well, we move over to the main event live also here on YouTube for you. Just TME Media AZ is where you can find all of our programming except for the Real Matrix. More on that in just a second. This show's live at 7 a.m. The main event's live 8 to 10 a.m. Also on YouTube. So make sure you join us live. If you can't, well, it's available on demand, including the pit stop. That is on demand every Wednesday. We try to get it up by 2 o'clock. You want to follow TME Media AZ as well on X and all of our shows on their shows there, except for this one and The Real Matrix. No X for those two shows yet. But you want to follow us on TME Media AZ? It just has some show updates and what we do around here besides these shows. Of course, Pit Stop out this week as well, all up on demand there at YouTube or over on Rumble, folks, is where you can find that as well. And then The Real Matrix. Every Friday at noon, new episode of The Real Matrix comes out and also on the podcast as well at noon. Well, last week's episode, getting some great, the podcast version of this show is through the roof. We need to get that Rumble up a little bit more. It's kind of dipped a little bit over the summer, but I get it, right? The way, the summers are, vacations and everything. But you can get caught up on demand on Rumble right now. Rumble.com/user/TME Media, where you can find all of our programming. Just click on the channel button when your page pops up there. It'll be a channel button right in the middle of your screen above the videos. Click on that. Click the show you want to watch. And there you have it as well, folks. Every Friday at noon. And last week's episode's up. We got a two-parter. Second part of last week's episode coming up this week as well for The Real Matrix. Appreciate you joining us. And let's get right back into that Market Watch. And it's pretty simple. Markets looking good today. Now, tech stocks, you saw there's a little bit of a sell-off here as the market has opened up on the tech stocks. But overall, markets are still up here today. Dow Jones is up 377 points right now. S&P 500 is up 10 points as we look at that. The NASDAQ also up today. NASDAQ has switched negative here as the morning has been happening. 17 points down right now for the NASDAQ, 24,962. So oil prices caused the market, falling oil prices, about 7% down today, oil is. Here, I just looked at it in the break there, still about 7% down oil. But it's causing the markets to have a little bit of a sell-off here since it opened. It boosted up as soon as the markets open, coming back down here as the day's gone on. The Russell 2K is down 11 points here today, based off of what I'm telling you right now. Then there's Bitcoin down today. Fell underneath 65,000, but barely 64,998 for Bitcoin here this morning. Stocks we're paying attention to right now. We'll have to see what they're doing with oil prices dropping. We're going to look at energy stocks. Chevron's the first one that we're going to look at. Down 1.85% here. Interesting enough, this was down 2.7% when the market opened earlier today. So you can see kind of back on the oil side. This is all because the U.S. and Iran agreed to pause attacks against each other. Oil's down 7% today. So Chevron, ExxonMobil's the next one we're going to look at. Also down today, unless something's changed. Yeah, 1.61% down. It was down 3.2% earlier today as well, or right in pre-market. I think was 3.2%. But obviously, with oil prices dropping, they're not going to make enough money or as much money. That's why they're dropping here today. And then Diamondback Energy is the last one we're going to look at here as well. 2.15% down right now for Diamondback Energy here on this Monday. So energy stocks, not a surprise if you know anything about energy stocks. Yeah, they fall when oil prices drop, especially when oil prices drop 7%. And that's what's happening there on the energy side of things. Now, local stories out there, and they're taking a little bit of heat on this, but it is a big deal, right? What people go through. But could you imagine spending all that money for college to become an influencer? Yeah, ASU, right? Our beloved Arizona State University up here in Tempe. Yeah, they're betting that the next generation of entrepreneurs, well, they won't launch startups or companies. They'll launch personal brands and, and everything and make bank. Yeah. The influencers can make money, and it's hard work. It's a lot of work and things to that effect. But it's also kind of like, I consider like acting. Not everybody can do it out there, right? Now you have a chance to learn exactly how to become an influencer at ASU. So ASU has introduced a new Bachelor of Arts in Content Creation. Yeah. all through the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. So students have the opportunity to earn a 4-year degree focused on becoming professional content creators. You could be a digital storyteller and, of course, an influencer as well. Now, this program was approved by the University Senate earlier this year. Well, it arrives as the creator economy continues to expand into a multi billion-dollar industry. 200 million Americans earning income through platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and podcasts are other ways, of course, to earn money at doing this type of stuff. The global creator economy is currently valued at over $250 billion, right? Surging ad spend is driving this phenomenon right now. Advanced creator tools and ever evolving artificial intelligence space is where a lot of people are jumping in now as well. They say the average influencer earns $91,991 per year, according to Indeed, by the way. But there's some of them that make several million dollars per year. That's driving that number up, right? To get to that, the Joe Rogan level or something to that effect is, it's very hard to do. Very hard to do to get to those levels. But can you make a modest income or side hustle? I guess it's kind of the question as well out there, right? The average registered nurse earns $93,600 per year. Just kind of tell you where the numbers are coming in at here as well. So more than half the young people, about 57%, want to become social media influencers. That's according to a bunch of surveys out there. And then 41% of adults overall express influencer aspirations as well. Now, according to ASU, students will learn content strategy, personal branding, audience analytics, multimedia production, podcasting, social media marketing, and videography while building up their online presence. Yeah, they're going to be doing, in order to graduate, you have to be doing and growing your social presence in order to graduate with this degree as well. They'll learn how to analyze performance across multiple platforms, test different content strategies, even improve results, including using audience data. And that's what people don't know about these influencers and these jobs, even what we do here to a certain extent. We do our programming and just try to get people to watch. We're not doing it for the money here and everything like that. But, you have to analyze, you have to switch what you're doing based off of the trends out there. A lot of work analyzing stuff, and a lot of people just don't know that side of it. That's what ASU will teach you how to look at it moving forward as well. So there you go, new degree there at Arizona State University. Now let's talk some chips out there. We talked chip stocks earlier today. And now NVIDIA, they designed the computer chips that, AI relies on for the most part. Some other chip makers are in that space, but to a lot smaller extent. Some trying to break into it as well, like AMD, for instance. Well, we know NVIDIA works with Amcor, which is a local company. NVIDIA just announced a $1.5 billion partnership with Amcor, who I believe is out of Tempe, if I know the city properly here as well. Chip packaging and testing is what Amcor is going to continue to do with them as well. So it's a critical step Amcor is going to do for NVIDIA as well. Now, this is a step, we know they're working together already, but they're expanding that relationship. Amcor, if you remember, we told you, I want to say end of last year, beginning of this year, Amcor expanding their presence up there in Peoria as well, moving forward here. So supply chain obviously is a big deal. Warehousing, manufacturing here in Arizona as they announced that agreement. And then interesting thing happens, right? TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor, who makes a lot of chips as well for these big companies. They announced that $100 billion investment in Arizona, what, a week or so ago, week and a half ago? Well, now the Trump administration has lowered the tariffs against Taiwan after that TSMC announcement. The new weeks, less than a week after TMC announced the $100 billion more being invested here in Arizona, well, that's when the tariffs came down. Less than a week it took. Now, the administration of Trump, they said the reason for new tariffs is that Taiwan failed to enforce a prohibition on goods produced with forced labor. That's the same one he put against the UK and China just recently as well. But tariffs on imported goods from Taiwan have gone from 15% to about 10%. in the terms of the level out there. So look, right, invest in the United States. We all know President Trump will kind of give you a break after you do that. Example, Taiwan as well, with that big investment coming up. And school starts today or this week, I should say. I know tomorrow for Gilbert Public Schools. Queen Creek's been going for a week. Chandler's been going for a couple weeks out there. Well, if your kid's interested in doing some outside of school stuff, well, you can now go back to EVIT. Well, you always could. They weren't closing down or anything, but yeah. EVIT and its 9-member school district, how that law battle, the lawyer battle that they were having, well, it finally reached an agreement after months of negotiations. So, according to EVIT here, the agreement will allow students to continue attending the school's career and technical education programs while also providing a path forward for EVIT and its member districts. Now, a lot of the changes that they were arguing about was transportation. EVIT said it will now provide transportation to its Mesa campuses for the first time in more than a 30-year history of EVIT. Before, the individual schools provided the transportation over there, or they kids got there themselves as well. So it's going to be a $5 million investment in buses and related services, is what EVIT's going to put into it as well. EVIT also says the agreement outlines how the school and the member districts will continue working together, including reviewing satellite campus programs. So this is, the lawsuit that was going on between the 9 schools and EVIT. Well, this lawsuit's on pause now with this agreement moving forward. So, think if your kid was interested in even going to EVIT, some question marks erased here as we're getting back into, of course, the school season here as we head into, well, for us, end of summer is when our schools start, early fall. But all right, folks, the deal you've been waiting for all day long. Today, Monday, July 27th, is what we're looking at. Yes, and that's National Chicken Finger Day, officially today, folks. Get hungry? And Raising Cane's is an offer for loyalty members to celebrate the occasion. So, Caniac Club members, well, and Hot Fresh News subscribers, well, you can get free chicken finger with the purchase of a box combo today only on Monday. They said the offer will automatically be loaded to Caniac Club members' accounts. They can be redeemed at restaurants nationwide. You just got to swipe your Caniac Club card in restaurant. Of course, online orders will be accepted as well. Customers who aren't Caniac Club members can join by visiting any location and requesting a Caniac Club card. Then register and verifying your email address, and then you can get it today as well if you're not already a club member as well out there. So, before the date, I got bad news for you. I misspoke there. That's how you become a Caniac Club member, and they want you to sign up for it. But to get this deal, if you weren't a club member by Saturday night, well, you can't get this deal. But they say they're going to do more deals, so that's why they want you to. They're doing it to sign up for their program, of course. So if you weren't signed up by Saturday, they miss out on this deal. But they say more deals are coming, so get in there and sign up for it as well. So if you're a Hot Fresh News subscriber, you'll receive an email with a QR code, or you should have already gotten it for that same deal as well out there. So, or you can sign up for that news program as well going forward. So, yeah. Also, Raising Cane said it will donate $1 for every box combo purchased on today, Monday, up to $1 million to Kickstart Kids. And of course, is that nonprofit founded by Chuck Norris. Yes, he just passed away on us here, martial artist and actor out there. That program plan aims to teach character and leadership through martial arts as well. So there you go, folks. If you're part of that deal, go get yourself some free canes today as well and take advantage of that program. Check your app or emails, and if not, sign up, right? Get in on these deals as they happen out there. And National Chicken Finger Day today on Monday. Well, folks, appreciate you joining us. Don't forget, we're here Monday through Friday now, moving forward here for the fall season. Come and join us. And we'll see you tomorrow, everybody, live 7 a.m. Don't forget, main event coming up next. We'll see you there.